There's a version of love that only exists as long as you're convenient, as long as you're calm, as long as you're understanding, as long as you don't ask for too much. If you've ever felt valued until you needed something, I want to talk about that tonight. Not to accuse anyone, just to tell the truth about it. I used to think being easy to love was a strength. I thought patience made me safe, that understanding made me valuable, that flexibility made relationships last. So I learned how to soften myself, how to listen without interrupting, how to forgive quickly, how to adjust expectations before they became inconvenient. And for a long time, it worked. People liked being around me. They trusted me. They leaned on me. But slowly, something shifted. Love started to feel conditional, not stated, just implied. As long as I was calm, things were fine. As long as I didn't press too hard, things stayed smooth. As long as I carried my weight quietly, everything worked. But the moment I needed space, the moment I needed clarity, the moment I needed support, something changed. Not in words, in tone. Responses shortened, patience thinned, affection paused. That's when I realized something uncomfortable. Some people don't love you. They love the version of you that makes their life easier. And that realization doesn't arrive loudly. It arrives as confusion. You start asking yourself if you're being unreasonable, if you're asking too much, if your needs suddenly became flaws. So you do what you've always done. You shrink them. You tell yourself, it's not that serious. They didn't mean it. I can handle this. And you can. That's the problem. Being capable makes you easy to overlook. The more understanding you are, the less others feel pressure to grow. The more forgiving you are, the more imbalance becomes normal. And one day you realize you're carrying the emotional weight of the relationship alone. Not because anyone demanded it, but because you made it look effortless. That's where resentment tries to enter, quietly. It whispers, "Why am I always the one adjusting? Why does love feel like something I manage? Why does my patience feel invisible?" I wanted to harden, to become less available, less forgiving, less kind, but I knew what that would cost me. Hardening would protect me, but it would also disconnect me from the part of myself I didn't want to lose. So instead, I learned something harder: boundaries. Not walls, not ultimatums, just honesty. I learned that being easy to love isn't the same as being respected, that love isn't proven by endurance alone. Sometimes love is tested the moment you stop absorbing discomfort that was never meant to be yours. When I stopped shrinking, some people pulled away. Not angrily, naturally, because the version of me they loved was the one who never required adjustment from them. That hurt, but it clarified something important. Love that disappears when you become honest was never stable to begin with. I didn't lose everyone, but I did lose illusions. And in that loss, something steadier took their place. A quieter confidence, a clearer sense of self, a willingness to be loved fully or not at all. If you're listening to this and realizing you've been easy to love at the expense of being fully seen, you don't need to change who you are. You just need to stop disappearing inside your kindness. Love isn't supposed to cost you yourself. Let's say you're living in a house where you never lock the door, not because you're careless, but because you want people to feel welcome. Friends walk in without knocking. Family comes and goes. Strangers linger longer than they should. At first, it feels generous. You tell yourself, This is what kindness looks like. This is how love stays close. But over time, things start to go missing. Not all at once, not dramatically, just small things. Your time, your rest, your sense of quiet. You start rearranging your life to accommodate whoever walks through the door. You stop noticing how often you're the one adjusting. And the hardest part? No one ever asked you to leave the door unlocked. You chose it, because locking it felt like rejection. Because boundaries felt unloving. Because being easy felt safer than being honest. That's the cost. Being easy to love often means being easy to enter, easy to take from, easy to overlook. And one day, you realize the house is still full, but you feel strangely displaced inside it. Learning to lock the door isn't about keeping love out. It's about finally deciding what deserves access.